Good evening and welcome to Horror Historian. My name is Amanda and tonight we'll be discussing the 2023 supernatural horror film, Satranic Panic, because we support women on this channel. The director is Alice Mao Mackey. She is most known for T-Blockers, So Vamp, and Boys and Carnage for Christmas. McKay also wrote this along with Cassie Hamilton and Benjamin Paul Robinson. Robinson has worked with McKay a lot and has also directed various shorts. The stars are Cassie Hamilton, Zarif, and Lisa Fanto. Hamilton has also worked with McKay a lot. Zarif is most known for Lonesome, Wellmania, and Carnage for Christmas. Fontano has also worked a lot with McKay, and you should all know this, but as a fan of John Waters, I love a queer collective of artists coming together to make movies. Trigger warnings for transphobia and suicide. The movie opens with transgender drag queen Aria performing and singing live. The singing live is an understandable choice because music licensing is very expensive and can really bump up the price of a movie and its making. The actress is talented, so it works, but sometimes the songs just last a little bit too long. Just a smidge. Could have gone with a little less. In the audience is Arya's close friend, a comic book artist. Together, they are struggling with the very recent loss of Jay's boyfriend, Max. Jay is struggling especially since the two of them were present at the time of his murder. They were there when a satanic cult murdered him for a ritual, but they were powerless to prevent it from happening. The friendship between Arya and Jay is one of the movie's stronger elements. Their dynamic feels genuine, although Arya's selfish behavior can be frustrating. She positions herself as supportive, partially joking that they were going to grieve in shifts. Obviously, since Jay was Max's partner, it seems fair that she go first. Jay goes to wait for Arya when she is approached by a strange man. Almost immediately, something feels off about it, and Arya is hesitant as the man starts to come on a little bit strong. He tells her that he has never been with a girl like her before. Trusting her instincts, Arya keeps her guard up, which is good because he reveals himself to be a demon. It is not explained yet, while Arya has the ability to sense demons, a skill that she appears to have possessed for a little while. Jay arrives in time to help and they kill the demon. They decide that they're tired of waiting around for the cops to figure out what happened to Max, especially since the demon threat is clearly ongoing. The two resolve to go and confront the cult that is responsible. This decision leads them on a journey across Australia, a task made more complicated by how just the country's enormous. Arya finances the trip by performing at drag gigs along the way, an arrangement that was set up beforehand, which they choose to ignore because it does make things easier to get there. On the first leg of their journey, they discuss Arya's sudden ability to sense demons. Arya connects the ability to the estrogen injections she receives from Dr. Benway, who is her urologist. He is also vaguely threatening from the 3 seconds we see right then. She explains that she had transitioned, she no longer experienced gender dysphoria. But when a demon is around, she experiences a similar discomfort. It's just that it isn't internal, but coming from the outside. I honestly like that explanation. It makes sense. To me, at least. After Arya's first performance on the road, they spend the night in a motel. They are greeted in the morning by a overly cheerful young woman claiming that she's room service. She enters the room and we can see that she has a baseball bat hidden behind her back while speaking to the girls. And immediately, it raises my suspicion. That's a red herring. Kind of, for the time being. The real threat arrives shortly after when another person claims to be room service. That one ends up being a demon, not the first one. To complicate matters further, there's also just a poor woman that is actually doing room service. She just gets out of there before she can get dragged into this, but that's kind of funny. Arya and Jay manage to dispatch the demons and run to the car to continue their trip. Their escape is interrupted when the third person in the car reveals herself. She was the first room service girl with the baseball bat, and she introduced herself as Nell. She was someone that went to school with them and admits that she had kind of admired them from afar. They weren't friends, and she wants to join them on the tour with Arya. She quickly integrates herself by complimenting Arya because it's actually really easy to win her over. For obvious reasons, Jay doesn't trust her. Not only because Nell appears at a convenient moment, but also because Jay is still grieving the loss of their boyfriend, and they just need their friend. But Arya and Nell have a romantic connection, and Jay finds themselves more of a third wheel. Given the journey is meant to be motivated by Jay's loss and her desire for justice, this shift feels a little rude. At one of the stops, Jay starts to make it clear that she is frustrated with how slow it is taking to get to where they need to be. Arya speaks with several drag queens following one of her performances. They're all local and a little bit off. Arya experiences a familiar sensation that shows she's at least around one demon. Although they seem a little strange, only one of them is actually a demon, and it reveals itself. The confrontation ends with a demon being killed with a disco ball, which I respect. The trio pulls over by the side of the road for the night. Jay sits in the front while a couple snuggle in the back. Her grief is compounded with a feeling of just being left out. They don't know that Nell is secretly watching them when they go through her belongings. She finds a photo that shows Nell with Dr. Benway, Arya's urologist, in a kind of familial photo. Jay attempts to get Arya alone, very obviously, by the way, and she tries to share with her what she's found. Arya isn't happy that Jay was going through her girlfriend's things, but she does recognize her doctor, and, like, obviously, Dr. Benway is Arya's father. Which it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Yes, these weird powers are coming from this, but Jay doesn't believe in coincidences, and I don't either. A fight finally erupts between Arya and Jay, rooted in Arya's refusal to acknowledge the parade of red flags that Nell is carrying. She's unwilling to hear things about anything negative about a girl that she is falling for. Jay's concerns are outright dismissed. Arya lashes out, accusing Jay of being jealous because she is finally happy and has someone that wants her. It's a cruel blow, and Jay decides that they're going to go on their own for a little while. Arya has no real hesitation leaving her trans friend of color behind in the middle of nowhere. It's only 20 minutes from their next stop, but it still feels like a jerk move. As Nell and Arya drive alone, Arya starts to sense a demon lurking nearby. She rushes off with Nell into some shrubbery, and they go into a garage. Nell shuts the door behind them and ties up Arya in the darkness. She has trapped her, and she is not alone, revealing a setup that was honestly pretty obvious. Dr. Benway appears dressed in, like, Rocky Horror Picture Show style drag. Nell is his firstborn daughter, and she was perfect. Someone that he never needed to worry about controlling. He contrasts it with his older child. He frames it as a rebellion against nature and a disease that infected her. This isn't ignorance or typical transphobia, but a generational cycle of self-hatred, projection, and abuse. Dr. Benway experiences gender dysphoria, and he reacts by sprinting as far in the other direction as he possibly can. His wife even dies because of her own gender dysphoria, unable to continue living with those feelings. As a result, he isolates and sends his other child away. That child transitions into Max and befriends Jay and Arya and eventually dates Jay. The film leans heavily into a familiar cultural ideal, the equation of morality and disease. Dr. Benway frames gender dysphoria as a sickness, a moral failing that must be eradicated. His solution is literally demonization, using demons to kill trans people. Arya is a person that exists in defiance of his belief because she is perfectly happy with herself now that she has transitioned. She told us earlier that she doesn't experience gender dysphoria anymore, and that she's unapologetic in who she is. I mean, we see it throughout the entire movie. She stands in defiance of his beliefs. Happiness and self-acceptance is a real possibility if you allow yourself to transition. They could have easily written Dr. Benway as a straightforward cisgender transphobe, but honestly that would have been boring. He looks kind of busted, but the actor looks good in lingerie, so he can't be too harsh on the outfit so far. Then, almost out of nowhere, Arya's mother is revealed to be a romantic relationship with Dr. Benway, and she sees a future with him. Arya is horrified. The moment probably would have landed harder if they'd really established a relationship with her mother. I suppose the fact that Arya and Jay didn't feel the need to discuss their families at any point suggests that they aren't that close with them, especially not as close as they are with one another. It's still brutal for a mother to join the side of someone that hates your existence and quite literally wants to use you as a sacrifice in a ritual. Arya rejects her mother, and she's left hanging in the garage for now. The demon is left behind to guard her, and Arya kind of tries to get into its head. She plays to the ego, flattering it, hoping that the demon will let it go, because she's like, you're a demon, you have all the power, why are you letting this crusty man do this to you? Before that plan can fully play out, her mother arrives and frees her. She had snuck back because she really had not realized the full plan that was going on. She admits that she had supported Dr. Benway through a lot of his bad choices, which complicates that apology, but you know what, she saved her kids, so bare minimum, knocked it out of the park. Once free, Arya reunites with Jay. She admits that Jay was right and then fills them in as they go back to confront the cult for killing Max. Jay takes a brief moment of satisfaction because she was right. The two reconcile and agree to face the cult together, two people that were going to stand up against a satanic cult that hates trans people. Slay. The first person they run into is Nell, and Arya whoops her ass for a little while. Their fight is interrupted by Nell's emotional confession. She grew up in a household shaped by tragedy and repression. Her mother killed herself, her father is clearly unstable, and her sibling was killed for being his authentic self. Nell had to be the perfect child even if it required her to fall in line with her father's belief. While this doesn't excuse it, it certainly explains it. Dr. Benway appears in full drag, and it is busted. The movie shifts into a musical confrontation. Arya sings about being transgender, about the cruelty she faces for wanting to live honestly, perform for the masses, and enjoy her life. Dr. Benway tries to sing back, which is far less effective and kind of veers off into like almost uncomfortable territory. Arya delivers a well-deserved verbal takedown. Her arguments are clear and justified, but Dr. Benway can't accept his defeat. In response, he attempts to summon the demons using his book. This backfires when he realizes too late that he has been performing the wrong ritual. Jay had used her art skills to duplicate one of the pages, making Dr. Benway put himself on the line. He has to finish the ritual or else he is going to have a very bad time. The only person he has to sacrifice is himself, so he kills himself with like a really tiny knife. Like he really has to like go in there. He has to cut himself up. No. Dr. Benway is finally taken by the demons and their hellfire, but then he melts away. The woman he could have been being revealed to the survivors. She's beautiful, the fried wig is mercilessly gone, and for a brief moment she gets to live as the woman she could have been. Unfortunately, it comes with eternal damnation because, like, she's gone. Nell apologizes again to Arya, and the three of them leave the book behind. The demons are gone, their contract null and void with Dr. Benway. Nell almost picks up the book, but Jay catches her before she can do anything. That distrust lingers, and I don't think that will be resolved anytime soon. The movie ends with Jay, Arya, and Nell going to visit Max's grave. It's tender, three people grieving the same person in entirely different ways, as a partner, a sibling, and a friend. Despite everything, they share that loss. This movie is definitely camp, and it feels like it's been a while since like there's been like a new campy movie out. I've seen some like genuinely campy movies. This one's intentional without overdoing it, and by no means is it like amazing. It's definitely suffers at times from a small budget, which there's something nothing a small budget movie needs. They did exactly what they needed to do. If it was a bit more of a straightforward musical, I might not complain so much about the long songs. The actress that plays Arya is a very talented singer, so that is not the complaint. But when you have an hour and 20 minutes spending multiple song lengths filming the actress standing there and singing, it gets a little